Hunter Biden did an interview with a MAGA podcaster who's sort of un-MAGA curious now, I would say. That doesn't make a ton of sense, but Shawn Ryan. And I would say during the election cycle, he definitely was MAGA. Now he's kind of shifting because he's seeing it's getting pretty toxic over there. But that puts him in a tough position because then you interview people who are on the other side of the aisle, and his audience, they may also be annoyed with the Trump administration, but they're not ready to say, let's listen to Gavin Newsom, which is one of the interviews that Shawn Ryan somewhat recently had, got some backlash for. Now he got even more backlash from what I could tell for having Hunter Biden on. Now, in general, you all know, I have requested that Hunter Biden stop doing interviews. I don't think it's very helpful to Democrats. Even though I get that he feels like he was treated unfairly, his whole brand is just a little stinky. And I think that a lot of his decisions really hurt his father and hindered what otherwise was in many ways a pretty strong administration up until the whole debacle at the end. And so I just am kind of like, why do we need to be putting you out front and speaking on these issues and then bringing back up all of these old, should Biden have dropped off the ticket and was he done dirty? And right. So in general, I've been saying, hey, Hunter, just go paint, live your life. We don't need you as a spokesperson. Nobody needs that. He's clarifying that he wasn't the one bringing the cocaine to the White House. It's just all weird, but interesting. This one was actually pretty interesting. And I have to say, that's my wise take, right? That's my thoughtful take. My little secret take is let it rip, baby. Because unlike politicians, Hunter has nothing to lose now. Like, the whole world has seen him naked smoking crack. Once the whole world has seen you naked smoking crack, you kind of have no F's left to give, except for a lot of F's left to speak.
There's
Watch
something
this.
fucked up about that motherfucker.
Yeah, a lot of those, but none to give. Here was him talking about. So I'm going to show you him talking about some of the allegations Republicans made against him that I'm sure Shawn Ryan believed fully. And we've fact-checked where Hunter was being low character, but where Joe Biden wasn't implicated and all of that before. But it's interesting to hear Hunter, and this actually kind of makes me sad, explain better than I have ever heard Joe Biden explain how they were being done dirty, you know? Whenever Joe Biden would be confronted, he'd be like, listen, I love my son. And you're like, wait, but explain like we did, because we would go through, here's what Republicans are saying, here's why Biden's not engaging in corruption. I didn't hear Biden explain that to people, Joe, but Hunter did, interestingly, with all the problems. And before we get to that, here's just a fun moment on Jake Tapper. Not that Jake Tapper necessarily deserves this, it's just kind of funny.
I think that Jake Tapper is a pompous, arrogant fuck. But you know what?
Look at Shawn. I love him. I don't, but I love how he's just like, just watching.
But you know what? I think they love this country.
Unifier.
I don't think that they're bad people. I think they're just arrogant fucking fucks.
What is this? It's just so unhinged. I love it. It's so unhinged. He can't think of another insult. It's beautiful. Like the Stephen Miller one. Here he just goes, you know what? F works. It works. I think it gets the point across. So he doesn't like Jake Tapper. I think Hunter, I get it. It's his dad. If I were placed in a situation where it was my dad who was president and my dad who was aging and then got pushed off the ticket for plenty of good reasons, but I would feel bitter too at the people who then reported on all the different problems that were happening behind the scenes. I'm sure Hunter feels like things were mischaracterized. The one thing I can't get over, even though I think plenty of valuable lessons were learned from Jake Tapper's book, one thing I can't get over aside from them plugging it all the time was why the wheelchair anecdote was in the book. Because we still see Joe Biden like to this day and he's not in a wheelchair. And the book made it seem like, from what I remember, the excerpt, made it seem like they were considering putting him in a wheelchair if he fell again. And now he's still walking around. I mean, not the fastest walk in the world, but he's walking. He's walking, you know? And that one always confused me. So I'm sure Hunter feels like things were mischaracterized. Even though I think we had to have that post-op. But then just how passionately angry he is, if nothing else, kind of entertaining. Okay, this next part is about the allegations of corruption against Hunter and Joe versus what the Trump children are doing. And Hunter actually makes the case pretty darn well. While we watch it, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show. It is free. You just tap the button and then you help get the word out.
They try to paint me as not having as much experience as Don Jr., who just got a $695 million contract for a startup private equity firm for a startup drone company. Was it a mistake to go on the board? Yeah. They used that as the toe in the door to be able to call my family the Biden crime family without any evidence. The person that said that Joe Biden took a bribe, protect Burisma, is sitting in a jail cell for lying to the FBI. I was transparent about what I got paid. I served my 5 years on the board, 3 of which were when my father was not in office in any shape or form. Then I left. Jared Kushner is right now negotiating a peace deal with the Ukrainians and the Russians with direct interest as it relates to the energy interest inside of Russia and their partners, whether it's in India, the Saudi Arabia, or what's about to happen with Nord Stream pipeline. A direct interest, taking $2.5 billion from partners to impact those changes. I served on the board for 2 years. You have every email that I've ever sent, every text message that I've ever sent. The one thing that they hung their hat on is a guy that was in Washington, D.C. at the time, was the secretary to the board, said, "Hey, Hunter, thank you. It was nice meeting your dad." And when she was walking out of a restaurant, and my dad was walking into a restaurant, and I introduced the two of them, and that's it.
I think
they started an impeachment investigation over this.
One question that a lot of people have, the 10% for the big guy remark.
Not from me. It's from a guy named James Gilliard, along with Tony something.
Bobulinski.
Okay. Yeah, Tony Bobulinski, who claims to know me so well. You know,
I think that was a Tucker thing. The Baba something. I think he knows Bobulinski. I think he knows that name. And he went, Tony Baba something. Because the second that Shawn Ryan starts saying it, he says Bobulinski. Hey, I know. I'm trying to insult him. The thing Tucker always does is, and, you know, Luke Beasley, whoever the hell that is. And then he's met me like 5 times. Not actually, but like that's what he'll do to other people.
Along with Tony something.
Bobulinski.
Okay. Yeah, Tony Bobulinski, who claims to know me so well. You know how many times I met Tony Bobulinski? Maybe 4, maybe 3 times, in which I told him to go fuck himself and that I wouldn't do business with him. They're negotiating a deal, not having, by the way, anything to do with Burisma, was starting a U.S. entity of a Chinese energy firm. They wanted to partner and create an investment vehicle. James Gilliard, not me, sends an email to 6 other people, including Tony Bobulinski, in which I'm CC'd on, in which he proposes equity splits, of which he says 10% for the big guy. Number 1 was occurring when my dad was out of office and was not a candidate for president. It was 2 years away from being vice president, and his career public service, according to everybody else, was over. So number 1, who gives a fuck? Number 2, I didn't say that. And number 3, it never happened. So 10% for the big guy, go fuck yourself.
Oh my gosh, Hunter, if I were his publicist, I'd be like 50% less F-bombs, okay? Just 50% less. Still use them, 50% less. It's so iconic, though. 10% for the big guy, go F yourself.
Dad has given 40 years of his tax returns. You have every tax return I've ever had. You can go find them on the internet. I had the DOJ, the FBI, the Oversight Committee, Judiciary Committee, Ways and Means Committee, in both the House and the Senate, U.S. Attorney's Office in L.A., and D.C., Baltimore, Delaware, Pittsburgh, all investigate me.
Holy shit.
At the behest of Donald Trump beginning in 2000.
I want to have Shawn Ryan's job. I sit up here and I'm like, for like an hour. Imagine just going, wow. What did you do next? Holy cow. So easy. So much easier.
17. And what did they come up with? They never did a deal. If James Gilliard sent that and his intent was maybe he's going to be able to get former vice president of the United States to be, somehow involved in this, then why would he be able to say that? Are you kidding me? He's selling. I will be surprised if when they leave this White House that the copper pipes are still in the walls. I'm not joking. It is the most openly corrupt, and everything that they do, Sean, is projection or
It's interesting how obviously he acts and sounds a lot different than his dad, but he does have a lot of little mannerisms that are the same. Like that, I'm not joking, Jack. Like you say a joke and you say you're not joking. That was a joke. You don't literally mean they're going to take the copper out of the walls. But I get your point. And that's such a Joe Biden thing. They're going to take the copper out of the walls. I'm not joking, kids. Kids. He doesn't say kids. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to go refresh on all the different details to confirm that every little iota was accurate. But the general sentiment of it is so true, which is what's driving me loco is Hunter, who's just been a very problematic figure, let's be honest. And if he could have, and I sympathize with the addiction part of it, but with broader life decisions he's made, if he didn't, that would have saved his dad politically a lot of pain. And for the Hunter of like the laptop fame, which we'll get to in a second, he says there never was a laptop. Interesting. That guy that we've seen in the worst moments in his life, to be the guy who, as far as Democrats go, just explained better the ridiculousness of that multi-year campaign against the Bidens than I've ever heard almost any other Democrat. It has to be the guy dropping an F-bomb every other sentence. It takes him to explain what we've been explaining on this show for years. That's kind of sad. How could Joe Biden not have gone out there and explained that? He'd just always be like, no. And then the other part that you heard him reference, which is super important, is, okay, let's say you cared about Hunter because you believed that the work he was doing in Ukraine became a conflict of interest for Joe Biden, and that Joe Biden could have leveraged, even though you don't exactly have, because the one you think you have is not actually accurate based on what we review, but you think you have an instance, and you definitely believe he could have leveraged his power as vice president to help the business interests of his son. And that's a problem for you. I would take you seriously, except most of the people who that's a problem for are Trump supporters. And Trump took whatever, like picture that you're walking, okay? And we were just out playing tennis and then volleyball yesterday, and a dog took a little poo-poo on the grass. And I forgot to tell one of our friends, and so he walked into the poo-poo. And let's imagine that you walk into poo and like a little bit gets under your shoe, and you're looking at it and you're like, dang it. Yeah, dadgummit. And whose gummit's dad? And you're like, dang it, there's sorry. You're like, there's a little bit of poo on my shoe. I'm so annoyed. Oh no, there's poo on my shoe, Luke. And you're annoyed, and I'm going, I believe you that you're annoyed that there's poo on your shoe. What will you do? So tough. And then you go, yeah, I'm really mad about that. And I'm like, I believe you. I'm so sorry. And then you go fill up an entire swimming pool with poop, and you swim in it, head to toe covered, just brown poo all over you. Then am I going to believe you that you ever even cared about the little piece of poo? No. I wanted to rhyme again. I think that illustrates the point, right? Because Trump is the equivalent of an entire swimming pool of poo. And you're telling me you care about a little bit of poo on your shoe? I don't think so. Trump is not just maybe in a position where he could maybe benefit the business interest of his children, or maybe he did one time. Trump's just giving people favors like pardons or policy steps right after they enrich himself and his sons. So I don't believe you anymore. I don't believe you anymore. You're swimming in a pool of poo. All I can think of is, what will you do? I can't think of any other rhyme. You have to have been thinking about it now. You're swimming in a pool of poo.
That was so good, you'd think you're Scooby-Doo.
Okay, next clip.
What do you
Did I say subscribe in this segment? If you like...
You did, actually. I lied.
I did? Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
think that was?
What do I think that was?
What do you
This is on the Epstein issue.
think this whole Epstein debacle was? Do you think this was
I
a...
don't even fucking know at this point, and I really mean it. It's like I will tell you is that the only thing that is clear to me is this: Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, during a period of his life, were fucking thick as thieves. And Donald Trump has tried to pass this off as being what Palm Beach was in the 90s. Okay? And that may be his view of it. But I've seen enough evidence of Donald Trump and his teen modeling agencies and what he said on Howard Stern about how he can go, he would go into the back of these, Miss Teen USA pageants and, walk up to the girls naked. They were talking about girls when he's talking about doing that. And wonder whether or not Donald Trump in his mind has come up with this concoction that it was all just what they did in the 90s. It was models. I mean, that's what Michael Wolff says. Michael Wolff says that the justification in Trump's mind is that they were models.
Wow.
You're 14, 15 years old.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you for weighing in. Wowza. Now, this is good though, because Shawn's audience is MAGA, and maybe they don't want to hear this from Hunter. Fine, fair. But if he's going to bring more people on to deliver this message, I think some of them will start to go, wow. Right? Themselves, they might go, wow. Hunter did reveal he's $15 million in debt. So that was a part of his point, is like, what, you think we're the Biden crime family enriching ourselves? Look at me. I'm $15 million in debt. Whereas the Trumps have gotten billions richer. If they are both crime families, which they're not, one of them might be, but then the Trumps are a lot better at it. And also, if you look at Biden's net worth, it was only once he got enough celebrity that he made money off of the normal ways that celebrity politicians make money. And for a lot of his career was not making a lot of money compared to his fellow senators. Then you have this on the laptop.
Is no laptop.
There was no laptop.
I have no recollection whatsoever of ever dropping off a laptop to John Paul McIsaac.
Well, maybe you don't have recollection. I don't know. I think he has an interesting hypothesis here, because the whole story is bizarre. It's like he dropped off the laptop and then a blind computer engineer knew it was Hunter and gave it to Rudy Giuliani. And then I was like, oh, wow, all of the things are here. And all of Hunter's dirt is on here. To do Rudy. That's not horrible. I got to work on a little bit. I've never done a Rudy before. Let me think. What's something Rudy would say? Oh, I married my cousin. He did.
He says he goes to repair the laptop, but then he starts to read the files. And he reads a file, and he sees files about Burisma. And he says the only thing that he can think of doing is calling Rudy Giuliani. He's a laptop repair shop owner in Wilmington, Delaware, whose store is 3.5 miles at most from where everybody knows my parents live. So if he had a laptop that he wanted to return, he thinks that the best thing to do is call Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, Bob Costello, and give it to my sworn enemy.
But there was no laptop, right?
They cobbled together all of this digital material that had been stolen from phones, that had been taken from the dark web, and they made it out to be this thing. Then the story doesn't become about the laptop at all, because there's nothing in the laptop other than a record of me being a degenerate at the worst moment in my life, smoking, doing drugs, doing what.
The fact that they released any of that is psychotic, to be clear. If you could have found any evidence that implicated something that Joe Biden did wrong, release it. The fact that anyone made public or discussed videos of Hunter Biden, as he put it, being a degenerate, is psychotic. What does that have to do with Donald Trump? Excuse me. Joe Biden. I mean, Joe Biden. What does that have to do with Joe Biden? I mean, it's his son, but that's like really private stuff. And I don't know if that's true, but it does make sense that maybe they just cobbled together a bunch of stuff they found and then put it on a laptop, because the story was always so confusing. And whenever more credible journalistic entities would ask for a copy of the laptop or the hard drive, right? Is that the correct language? Like if you wanted everything on the laptop, the hard drive, then Giuliani would be real weird and squirrely about providing that to them. Like, why wouldn't you just make a bunch of copies and then hand it to all of the different outlets, CNN and everyone else, and say, check it yourself, confirm its legitimacy, and then report on it? But then they got mad at all these outlets for not reporting on it, but they wouldn't actually give them the original source material. So maybe it was just all kind of put there for a better story, but like he said, it was found in other places. I don't know, but I don't actually care, because what was it that even was supposed to have been revealed? Videos of him with prostitutes? What am I supposed to do with that? You weirdos. I've told you before, but right-wing accounts will tweet at me or DM me with just videos of Hunter like fully naked. What? Why do you have that on your phone? It's very weird. Very weird. I think you're... No. All right, and then Asmongold is, I guess, seriously suggesting Hunter is going to run for president.
Release him. Why? Out of the kindness of his heart for the people that may get hurt. Have you ever known the president to act out of anything but his own self-interest? Ever?
How many more of these interviews are you guys going to need to see until you come to the inevitability that Hunter Biden is going to run for president? And I think he's going to do extremely well. I tried to warn you guys. I did. I tried to warn you. I tried to say, and y'all remember that, like, I was invested early in this.
So you don't know anything. That's not going to happen. That's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. That's not going to happen. If it does, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'll give Asmongold all my clothes. No, give him a little outfit revamp, a little closet revamp. He's so wealthy, to be clear. That's not like a income joke. He makes way more than I do, but he doesn't choose to apply that to his outfits, which is fine. It's fine. I wear the same shirts constantly. He's just look a little bit worn out sometimes, but fine. It's fine. I'm just saying I'll do something crazy if Hunter ever runs, and I'll say you were right, Asmongold. But it's funny he's suggesting that seriously. That's not going to happen. Don't do it, Hunter. Biden 2028, but not that. But that could be the sign. Biden 2028, not that one. That'd be pretty good. Biden, who else would be in that similar vein that could run with Hunter Biden? Hunter Biden 2028 running with... That was a real question. Hunter Biden 2028 running with...
Recently converted Democrat George Santos.
And Marjorie Greene. Yeah, I saw George Santos. I was going to play this on the bonus show, but because you mentioned him, I saw George Santos saying, all right, listen, if Trump runs in 2028, then I'll run for Congress. Don't make me. Oh my gosh, is everyone so excited that I'm going to run for Congress? I got to find this video. It's very funny.
So Trump is rising to third place. So here's my take. If President Trump hits number one, I'll run for Congress again. Fuck it. Let's see. I'm just like, I'm ready. I want to serve under President Trump. So I'll run for Congress again in 2028. if President Trump's a nominee for president.
Why? All right. You know what? I'm gonna say it too. If Hunter Biden runs, I'll be his vice president. I mean, just F it. I want to do it. Fine, you can make me vice president, but only if Hunter runs. Oh my gosh, his vibe really is irritating. Watch this one more time.
So Trump is rising to third place. So here's my take. If President Trump hits number one, I'll run for Congress again. Fuck it. Let's see. I'm ready. I want to serve under President Trump. So
no one would elect you. Don't say you're ready. We're not ready. I don't care if you're ready. None of us are ready. You think New York Republicans are ever going to trust you again? Why? We're in a messed up place in this country where a criminal and a liar, literally, he's a criminal and a liar, is being rewarded for just being a celebrity. Why is he a celebrity? Because he's a criminal and a liar. Look at this. He went on Fox News. Haha.
I'm back, and I don't need these anymore. See you tonight at Gutfeld. Bye.
He defrauded his voters and people out of their money so that he could put more Botox in. Literally, I'm not making a joke. That's actually what he spent some of the money on. And so, can we get our bearings a little bit and shift back to when we try to elect people that were serious people that we actually thought could be good leaders and not just fun to watch on TV? That's crazy. You know what? Let me say this. If Cole will... I don't know. I can't think of something. If Trump runs for a third term, you can make me CEO of Apple. Fine. I'll do it. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to do it. Ugh. Bunch of narcissists.